Good evening, Chavre. Baruch. Welcome to today's Rambam Shir, holding edut already, Perik Gimel. Baruch Hashem, we are moving forward. And today our Shir is from Chicago. Don't ask how I got to Chicago. I had a stopover over here, and I'm supposed to be going with my friends and family, and they're landing much later than expected. So we decided to hop to a shul over here and give the Shir in a shul until they land. When they land, I'll go back to the airport and pick them up and go home. So if you want to join the Shir, I'm here in the Chicago Center Shul. It's a Jewish community in Chicago. Yeah. So let's begin. This the halachas today are very, very straight. They have like subject one after another. Every halacha switches different kind of a different sub-subject inside the same subject of edus. We're going to speak about if witnesses contradict each other, and what else we're going to speak about? How do you accept the testimony, if it has to be written or has to be bal peh? Or towards the end, we're going to learn about what happens if witnesses want to retract their testimony. Do we accept it, and how does that work? So we're going to cover that's what we're going to cover pretty much. So without further ado, let's begin. And for the record, right now it's 11:57. Baruch Hashem, a little bit earlier than yesterday and a bit more quieter than yesterday. Okay, halacha aleph. Yeah, so how do we accept testimony? We spoke about that yesterday. So Shidam was saying, what is the raw halacha? If you want to accept the testimony, you must do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference if it has to do with money matters or in nefashis, capital cases. You have to cross-examine the witnesses. Yeah, both cases. The pasuk is referring to both scenarios. Has to be equalized. You have to treat the witnesses equally, and you have to question them, cross-examine them. Aval. Now we stumble into a problem over here. If you're saying we have to cross-examine every witness, that means if someone lends someone money and he wants to get it and he wants his money back, and the person didn't pay him back, and now he has to go to court to get his money back, and now he's going to know that the witnesses are going to be interrogated. Who's going to want to testify? Who's going to want to testify then? Go through the whole process of being interrogated like that. So Chacham saw that people are going to stop lending money this way. So they said, you know what? If it has to do with money matters, we're not going to cross-examine. Yes, I thought of an example. How could that be? Of modern day. So I came up with something, and it looks like this. How could it be practical? See, cash advance, and I was waiting outside to get loans. If not for this, cash advance would have been shut down. Chum saved cash advance because it's very, if they're gonna have to go to court and no one's gonna want no one's gonna want to witness that they owe money to get their money back, and they're not gonna lend them any money. The Chacham saved cash advance. I don't know how good cash advance is, but stam, it's like a concept. Try to connect it in today's days to make it sound more practical. Yeah, this is talking about regular money matters between a person, loans and finance, all these type of things. But what happens if it has to do with gifts and sales? Yeah, but if it's dine knosses, penalties that involve money, then Chachamim need to cross-examine the witnesses. Did this guy actually commit this avera? That he has to get this knas? Then you have to cross-examine. We don't cross-examine if it's a loan or a sale and stuff like that. But if it's something which is a knas, which is not just it's not a if you cross-examine them, you're not going to prevent a knas. So you have to cross-examine them. וכן נועדיין שהדין מלומה בחושש שלוי צריך דישה וחקירה כעדי נפושס אף על פי שאין עדי הידויס והלבויס. Same too, if the dayan has suspect that something is fishy over here, and he has to look a little bit deeper, then he can interrogate even witnesses which are only coming for money matters, which we generally do not interrogate them. And if the dayan feels that he might have to interrogate them, then we can go and interrogate them. Maybe he saw something suspicious, something fishy. הלכה גימל, אף על פי שאין העדים ממון נסיכן הדיש וחקירה מחיש העדים זה בחקירות ובדישוס עדוסם בתילה. Well, now what happens if two witnesses contradict each other? Yeah, we don't have to cross-examine them, but what happens if they contradict each other? So, if it's בחקירות ובדישוס, if it's by the first layer, by the seven, we spoke about earlier, the seven types of cross-examining, if they contradict each other there, then their witness is invalid. But if they contradicted each other by the bdikas, which are not the most important details of the actual testimony, then their witness, the testimony is valid. Ketzat. How is this? I'm going to give an example. One person says, yeah, this guy borrowed money in Kislev. Another person says, no, he borrowed money in Tavis. That's contradicting. And also, if one person says he borrowed money from him in Yerushalayim, the other guy says, no, he borrowed money from him in Tel Aviv. What do you say? Yerushalayim, Blud Tel Aviv, yeah? Then that's complete contradiction. You're contradicting each other. These days, I don't know how they be practical these days. These days, you can lend money on Cash App, you know? All these apps these days, so you can be anywhere. How would that mean today? I guess people can still lend physically in different places. Yep. Now what happens if the person says, this guy, he lent them a barrel of wine. And the guy says, no, he lent them a barrel of oil. Again, they're contradicting each other, and therefore the testimony becomes invalid. Let's see if we have that. I'll put the microphone over here, 1 second.
The event took place around 4 p.m. by the side exit, not the entrance. I saw the incident occur at approximately 3 p.m. entrance. The event took place around 4 p.m. by the side exit, not the entrance.
You see, so each one is giving a testimony, but the two people are coming to testify, but the details are not exactly the same. Once it's 3 o'clock, once it's 4 o'clock. Different times, different places, different entrances. They contradict each other, yeah? Okay. One guy says, this guy gave him an old rusty coin. It was already black, an old penny. Don't make pennies anymore, so it was very old and black. The other guy says, no, give him a brand new penny. Give him a brand new coin. It was nice and white and shiny and everything. In such cases, we don't really pay attention. That's okay. You know what I mean? One guy says he lent the money when he was upstairs. One guy says no, he lent the money when he was downstairs in the basement. These things don't matter. These things don't break up the testimony. Money low. Even if one guy said, listen, he lent them $100. The other guy said, no, he lent them $200. What do we understand from here? That they both agreed that he lent them $100, because he's saying 200, he's saying 100. So there was at least 100. Okay, pay him the 100. One guy says, this guy owes him money. I don't know, he sold him a barrel of wine, so he owes him, let's say, $100. The other guy says, no, he sold him a barrel of oil. He owes him $50. So they're both agreeing that he owes him at least $50. In such a case, the testimony stays, and he will have to pay what he owes. Yeah. So these secondary details, so to speak, the smaller details, they're not as problematic. דין תרא שאין מקם לעדוס לא בדין ממונויס ולא בדין נפושס אלא פי העדים, שם על פי עדים Witnesses, how do we accept testimony? From their mouth. That's the form of accepting testimony. We don't accept it from text messages, from WhatsApps. You have to come and physically testify, stand in front of the judge and give your testimony. It says from their pasuk says they hear it from their mouth and not from their writings. כדי שלא יתיר דלס לפני לוי. Chacham came again and said, they saved the day. He said, wait. If every time a person is going to want to get his money back, he's going to have to go and physically schlep the witnesses down here, even though he has a document signed and by witnesses, then he's not going to want to lend anyone. He's going to say, well, it's not such a big headache to lend someone money, and now I have to bring witnesses, even though they're already written on the documents. Why do I have to bring the witnesses? And it's a whole long process. So because Chachamim wanted people to continue lending money, see how important it is, I guess, to lend money to people, how big of a mitzvah it is. Therefore, Chachamim took some measures and they let it. And they, I don't know what's the word exactly. Some people like to use the phrase bent the rules in order not to lose on something else even greater, so to speak. Anything else like naseis or makis or golus, someone has a ruling if he has to go to golus or not. If you keep in capital case, in such cases we have to have the physical appearance of the witnesses to testify. It's interesting. What happens if he says he could testify by Zoom? Would that be considered good? I don't know. It's him. It's from his mouth through Zoom. I guess it seems like it might be okay. I don't know the answer, but I could guess that it is okay. Halacha hey, kol age nechkara yeduse bevezdin ben bedin amanis ben nefashis eino yochel lachzim boi. Could a witness retract? What happens if he comes to court to give the whole testimony and he sees everything's gone? They accept it. Sorry, I'm going to chair a little back. They accepted him, his testimony. Now what happens? Then he sees the situation is getting not so good, and based on what he said, he started panicking. Like, oh, you know what? What I said was a mistake. It wasn't true. I was intimidated. It wasn't true what I said. I want to take back my testimony. So what does the Rambam say? You can't retract once you got cross-examined and your testimony was approved. You can't go. There's no going back. Ketzad. Let's give an example. Omar Mutaisi says, I didn't analyze the case correctly. I said I don't know what's an example. I saw him hitting him, but I don't know, maybe I didn't see him. I don't know, maybe I saw something different. Maybe I was hallucinating. Maybe I was sleeping. I don't know. If he tries you see he's trying to back out of testimony. You say, no. You had it very clear just 5 minutes ago. Don't start making up stuff. You had it very clear, and that's what you testified, and that's what it is. Don't try to change it. Yeah, it says Shegegayisi. I remember it wasn't this, I wasn't sure of this. He's giving all these examples, he's giving all these excuses. Sorry about that. He's giving all these excuses. Sorry, there's a tissue box holding my camera. Gonna need to use it for right now. Just 1 second. Just got a little unexpected over here. The weather over here is changing. Don't forget, after all, we're in the windy city of Chicago, so things change over here really quick. Okay, I think we're okay. What was I saying? I was looking for a certain translation, which I usually check out before, but let's try to see. Okay. He says, oh, I just witnessed him to scare him. I just came to testify just to scare him. But it wasn't true what I said. No, we don't believe him. We don't listen to him. Even if he says a very good, valid reason, we do not listen to him. He can't say, oh, let's say, I don't know what, this guy bought a house from someone. So I'm testifying this guy bought the house, Reuben bought a house from Shimon. I'm testifying that he bought it on a condition that this and this is going to happen, whatever it may be. We can't listen to him. You said it, you gave your testimony, and that's it. Anything that a witness will try to come and change the testimony. I'm just getting a little bit cold over here. I'm in the shul after hours over here, it seems like, and I don't think the heater is on. So I just feel a little bit cold over here. Okay, so welcome to my orange scarf. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, so now what happens if so basically, okay, in 2 words, sum it up in 2 words, a witness, once his testimony is approved, he cannot take it back. There are some conditions that he could take it back, and we're going to find out. Same true applies to witnesses who their who who their name showed up on a document, on a legal document. Two witnesses. They also can't retract. When their names are written on a document, it's as if they got interrogated, cross-examined, and so the testimony is approved, pre-approved. When do we say that the testifying is like as if it's like accepted and you can't retract? If we could validate it from a different source, if we have two other witnesses saying yes, that this signatures are from these two individuals, or that we see their other signatures on different documents, and we know that it's true, we know that they're valid witnesses. What happens if you don't know these Adim? You don't know any of the other document that has their name. Nobody else came to testify that these are legit witnesses. Now they're coming and saying, yeah, we witnessed, but it's a true testimony. But the problem, we were under bar mitzvah when it happened. So we were actually relatives of this person that we're witnessing on. Or they come and say, oh, we were told to witness by force. Or we witnessed something mutarim. We weren't really sure. We were tricked into to think that it was like this, but really it was something else. In such a case, we believe them because they're the only ones that you could trust. There's nobody else validating them. So they're the ones who said they believe. They're the ones who gave it the testimony, and they're saying they're retracting. You have no choice. You have to believe them. This only applies to written statements, written signatures of a witness. What if they came and said, oh, we were not valid to be an Adim for whatever reason? So this is because we did a certain Avera which disqualified us from doing from testimony. And I think if somebody eats food in public, he's disqualified from becoming an aid. Or we got bribed to testify. We did not believe them. Why? Because all these cases have one thing in common. What's in common? All these cases, we're going to see. They have a klal. A person cannot self-incriminate himself according to halacha. A person cannot say that he is a Russia. We do not believe a person to say that he is a Russia. Unless other witnesses come and say that he is a Russia. But a person himself cannot say that he is a Russia. Now, even if they come and say this whole testimony was bogus, we said Reuben bought from Shimon $100, it was bogus. We just wrote up this whole document, and we really wrote it up, but it was complete fake. Never happened. Now, so you signed a document that never happened. It means, in other words, you're saying we signed this document and it never happened. So you signed false. So you're making yourself a Russia. Okay, so now we can't believe you. We can't believe you to make yourself a Russia. All these cases so far are talking about written testimonies and signatures. Yeah, what if the Adim say, yes, we testified about the sale about his property, but the owner came running to us afterwards and he said he was forced to do it, and he does not agree with this sale. He has to have some sort of document, or he just told him verbally. In such a case, they are believed. Seems like that they're coming to protect owner's rights. What if the owner was forced to sell something and he didn't want to sell it, and he told him right after he did not want to sell it, and he was forced to sell it. In such a case, we believe the witnesses, and the property remains by the original owner's house, and original owner's possession. Test. Oh no, it's not here. If they came and said this testimony that we written down was on a condition, meaning the condition has to be fulfilled in order for, let's say, the transaction to take effect, take place. If we could validate their testimony from somewhere else without needing them, because basically what do we kind of the sum of the rule also is, once they give the testimony, we don't need them anymore. We have the testimony, we don't need them. So what are you coming saying something else? You already validated. You're like a stranger right now. We don't need you. But what if they're the only person that you're relying on? You can't rely on them from somewhere else. You don't have another document to match to say, hey, they signed this document already, so we can trust them for this also. You don't have another document. You don't have other witnesses coming. If they said this whole sale was on a condition that this and this happens, we do not believe them because we can validate it from somewhere else. And if there isn't any other way of validating other than what they're saying, then we say, okay, fine, call in the two people which made the sale, the buyer and the seller, and tell, listen, if the condition that these two witnesses said is not fulfilled, then the sale is invalid. What happens if two witnesses, one person says the sale was on a condition that he pays him back in 2 years, for example, the whole mortgage. The other witness is saying, no, there's no condition. He said there's no condition in the mortgage. He said he's buying the house. It could be a 15-year mortgage. I don't know what. Such a case, what's the problem? What's the problem over here? We're down to one witness. Because one witness says the sale happened. The other witness says, no, it didn't fully happen. Because yeah. There's one witness. And there's one witness, we can't trust, we can't take the testimony because we only have one. And we need to have two. Also, by dinim mominus, we can only accept the testimony in front of the Baal Din. I mean, the person has to be present. The person that you're testifying on has to be there. What happens if the owner or the person that they're talking about in the case cannot show up to court? Or they have to leave, they have to go, and he's not going to make it, or he's not feeling well. In such a case, we could accept him even though he's not there. We can accept the testimony even though the person that they're testifying on about is not there. This is talking about verbal testimony. But if it's a signed document, we don't need to validate a signed document only if the person that they're signing about is there. We don't have to do that. We have a signature, we validate it without the person present. Even if the person that the document is written about, he's screaming and yelling, saying this paper is forged. They're false witnesses. They're not able to witness for whatever reason. We don't listen to him, even if it's right in front of his face. Even if he shows up in front of his face, we do not listen to anything he says. We validate the document, and whatever happens to happen based off the effect of that takes place. But if he has a proof that the document is possible, we accept. If he has proof, he has proof. You can't just scream. You can't just scream without proof. If you have proof, bring it down, show us the proof, and we'll accept it if it's a good proof. The last halacha of today is Perek. Kol mi sheyesh lo yiraya be'edim, hu mitaba be'edim ad sheyavi oisim be'ezin. Whoever has the one about dinim who has a proof, one of the litigants who has proof, has witnesses to support his case. It's his responsibility to bring those witnesses to court. If Nachadin Baldin Shiyavi, Idul, Basin Clayfiness of Baldin Shiyavi, who Adim, a Henkel Yates, but very Edut, Dani Behen Alum. What happens if Basin knows that you're trying to defend yourself? Let's someone's coming to try to take money out of you. So you have witnesses saying that you don't owe this guy money, but you know that this guy is trying to get money out of you. He's a very powerful guy, and your witnesses are afraid to testify against him. In such a case, Basin says, "This powerful guy, listen, you want to get money out of him? Make sure you have to bring witnesses, not him. He has defense witnesses, but he's not going to bring them. We're not going to force them in. You have to bring your witnesses." So it makes it more challenging for him because now he has to find proof that this guy owes him money. Yeah, they always say if you want to get money out of someone, it's always harder if you're the one that's trying to get money out of somebody else, because you have to make proof that they actually owes you money. With that, we concluded Perek Gimel. Thank you very much.